long-standing partner pro guides is a small amount to make, that being new features such as guide videos for pro members every single day, the Pro Pass now covering all games such as Smash, Fortnite, League, and more, and finally the 24/7 hour coaching program, which is now online. I've been listening to feedback ever since launch, improving their site with tier lists, patch notes, tips, and even more for Ultimate tournaments. Overall, I thank them for their continual support and hope you'll check them out down in the description below. I've been looking around thinking about ideas for Smash Ultimate, and I realized, you know what? I'm just going to talk about the stuff that I feel like is fun about this game. So, today we're going to be going off with one of those topics, that being the most hype part about every character, in my own opinion, in Smash Ultimate. Now, this could be a certain move, a certain part about the character, really whatever I personally believe is super hyped to watch and see. So, with all that in mind, though, guys, let's get going on the first three bros. Starting it off easy with Mario again. There's only one option for this character, and that's gotta be his forward aerial. Seeing a Mario go up throw into up air, wait a second, forward aerial, kill your opponent at 40%. You just can't beat that. Seeing him jump up the stage, get a forward aerial, dunk him down. Maybe the Mario dies himself, you never know. Seeing that all, it just brings a smile to my face. And while it doesn't happen that often, you know, when it does happen, it brings the hype. So come to see, I really like kill moves, and I feel like the majority of people like kill moves because, you know, it'll rumble your controller, it shakes the screen, and it just looks awesome. Most of the time when you see highlights, they're of the kill moves, not of the people spamming their safe moves in neutral. And one of those kill moves has got to be DK's punch. Now, this thing you can charge up 9 times and actually kill it a little bit earlier than the 10th, but the 10th time I'm going to say is the most hype part about this move, because if you charge it up 10 times somehow, and you let it rip, it'll go straight through any of your opponent's attacks. Now, you do have to be very careful with this move, because it does have a ton of unlag. If they shield it, you're kind of screwed, and all that. But when your opponent is just consistently attacking you, you chuck this out there, it punches directly through them, and they go flying. I really like to see that. Extra Remote Bomb has got to be one of the most hyped things in the game because it leads to so much random weird situations that are all cool to see. When you're a person that doesn't play Link but you watch a Link main using this move, hey, you see him break a shield with it somehow by Zair dropping it and nairing. How the heck does he do that? You don't know. You can see him recover with it. That's awesome. You can see him combo into it off stage, kill your opponent at very early percents. It's just so many interesting things coming out of this move, and while I personally can't do way too much with it myself, it's one of those moves that when you see come out, you think of the potential that can come out of it, and when potential does come out of this move, it can get kind of ridiculous. Now the most hype move for Samus has got to be Samus's jab, because it literally was designed to not work, and whenever you see a person use a move designed to not work, they are flexing on the opponent. That's just how it is. I know that Samus has some other good moves. I know that you could say neutral B, the charge shot can be really epic in the usage, but you know, throwing out a jab, there's just nothing more hype than using a useless move. In general, Yoshi is kind of Oonga Boonga. He's a character that you just kind of chuck out attacks and they work or they don't work, or at least that's how a lot of people like to think about him. But I feel like the thing that makes this character hype is just his airspeed, honestly. The ability to run towards your opponent, away from your opponent, weave in and out, and just effectively make your opponent miss a ton of stuff while getting a ton of damage yourself, while following it up with a ton of combos yourself. I like to see that. And while this character doesn't have a particular hype move, just as a character in general, you can get your stuff going and get your combos going. It can be really cool to watch. Kirby's neutral B, his inhale, has just got to be his most hype move because, while it doesn't really come out that often because it is A, super slow, B, doesn't have much range, and C, doesn't really actually do way too much, when you do get it off and you do suck your opponent in, you got their neutral B move. And 3/4 of the time, this actually isn't going to be that helpful because a lot of people's neutral Bs aren't the best, but if you pull something like a Snake Grenade or you pull something like a Robin Thoron, it can be pretty dang good. But if you pull something like a Sheik neutral B, get the Monado arts, especially in doubles, which you can do on your teammate, and start going ham as Kirby, holy crap, that's probably the coolest thing you've ever seen. Will it happen often? Definitely not. You know, but it can happen. Watching Fox juggle a character and just combo them from 0 to 60, I think that's the most hype part about this character. Fox in general is just a character that's just kind of fun to watch because while he does just kind of, you know, abuse the same over and over and over again, he's using his nairs up till his dash attack 5 billion times, seeing them actually somehow connect one move into the next, pressuring their opponent, getting them off stage, potentially getting them above themselves, following it up with up airs, it's just really cool to watch. And while he doesn't have a particularly amazing move to see, in general, just watching his game plan work out and actually unfurl correctly, as he is one of the only really great aggressive characters in the game, I think that's one of the coolest things to see with him. Pikachu's a character that I really think is enjoyable to watch, is fun to watch, but isn't necessarily way too hyped to watch. I feel like in most situations, you kind of know what the Pikachu is going to be doing. You know that he's going to be going for down throw loop combos, you know he's going to be trying to bear his opponent off stage and maybe going for an edge guard right there, and maybe trying to go for like an up throw thunder kill. That's kind of the things you see, and while again, I think it's actually really cool to watch, he's a really close range aggressive character in some situations that can play kind of defensive. You know, it's not way too hype. But one move that is hype is going to be his down air. Now, I love this move because it makes it that Pikachu, while normally he could just, you know, jump off and spam back airs and forwards off stage and, you know, slowly kill his opponent. If you go for this, it is kind of hard to hit. But if you hit it, you just straight up dunk your opponent. They're instantly dead. I actually don't feel like people use this move way too much. I feel like it is kind of hard to use. But when it does eventually show up, you know, it shows up. Luigi is just kind of like two sides of a coin because you could consider the character extremely hype or extremely lame. If you think throw combos 0 to death thing is hype, there you go, that's the most hype move. If you think that's super lame, there you go, that's his most lame move. But I feel like we can all agree the one thing that is always hype about Luigi is Luigi just going for misfires. Now, essentially you're just hoping for RNG gods to bless you. You go for like a forward air, misfire, hope that something happens. You know, it'll only happen 1 out of 8 times. What it does when it blasts your opponent, when you potentially SD from going for this stupid move, and it hits, that's all I had to say there. I know a lot of people think that Ness is lame because, you know, he spams forward air, he spams side B, spams grab, and there you go, that's Ness. But when you look at the top Ness players, and you see Ness utilizing his down B, the side magnet, and utilizing that for combos, kill confirms, and sometimes even leading it up to an up B, which can make him blast himself and kill the opponent, that is so hyped to see. Only the best Nesses do this. You pretty much will never see it online, but when you watch Ness in an offline tournament, he can actually be one of the most hyped characters. Captain Falcon is so easy because, you know, he just has so many hype moves. He is the hype master. Now, his combos by themselves, those are cool to watch. His movement, I love to see that as well. His knee, holy, you know, that's good. But then you got the most important move for Falcon, that being that Falcon punch, and more importantly, the reverse Falcon punch. Now, will these moves almost ever hit? Definitely no. Are there any setups into Falcon punch? No, there's literally nothing. But if you know your opponent is going, if you know where they're rolling, if you know where they're running, and you throw the Falcon punch and you hit your opponent, you instantly won the hearts of all of the people there. And while it doesn't happen too much anymore because there aren't that many Falcon players, you know, that is an easy way to do it. You know, I feel like people would really hate Jigglypuff if she were a top tier in this game. And the thing that actually makes Jigglypuff hype in this game is, simply put, winning a game. Now, I know that this sounds weird, but I feel like Jigglypuff's a character that just doesn't really have that many hype options. She does have Rush, which can be kind of cool. But other than that, you know, it's just kind of decent moves with decent range that you can kind of spam a lot. But you don't really see this character win that much. So seeing Jigglypuff actually pull out with her decent tools and her decent arsenal a victory, that is just one of the most hyped things with this character. I know it's kind of lame, I know it's kind of basic, but if you're a person that plays Jigglypuff and you eventually finally see a win with this character, especially higher up in tournaments, for those players, I'm going to say that's the most hyped thing for this character. Pulling a bomb and killing somebody at 30% in the middle of a combo is just stupid, but when you're a spectator watching it, it is amazing. That's all I have to say about Peach. The thing that makes Bowser hype is his threefold damage, speed, and power, because in a lot of matches you're watching Bowser and he's just gonna get hit by like one combo and take 60 to 80%. You're watching the character and you're thinking to yourself, you know, how the heck is this guy gonna actually win with this character? He's getting bodied. But then you see Bowser live up to 160%, and then you see Bowser getting 1, 2, maybe 3 side Bs or up Bs, getting a ton of damage out, maybe getting a 40% neutral B for some reason. And then out of nowhere, he throws out an F smash. He uses rage and his power, kills his opponent at 60%, and there you go, now Bowser's ahead. This character can just make the most ridiculous comebacks, and he doesn't even really have a comeback mechanic other than being fat. So yeah, that by itself I think makes him super hyped to watch. Maybe not the most hyped to play against, but definitely to watch. Seeing Ice Climbers actually pull off their amazing 0 to death or 0 to 50 or 0 to 60 throw combos is the most hyped thing to watch. Seeing Big D actually getting one of those in an actual tournament match is just so cool because it's not dumb as it was in previous games. It's not wobbling. It's not chain grabbing like it's, you know, Melee or in Brawl. It's actually a thing that takes a lot of skill, a lot of effort, and seeing that finally pan out is just cool. It doesn't happen way too often because it is extremely hard to set up and it is extremely hard to do, but as time goes on, I think this will get more and more hype, more and more fun to watch, and the combos will get better and better. Most hype thing you can do as Sheik is edge guard your opponent, get them super far off stage, and then go for the YOLO down air and kill yourself and hope that you kill your opponent. I've actually only seen this happen maybe twice in the entirety of Smash Ultimate, but if you have balls, if you want to do it, She has the option, maybe not the best option, but it's there and it's funny to see. I feel like in most cases when watching Zelda, she is kind of boring to watch because she does have an extremely defensive playstyle. And, you know, while she does have a good amount of moves that deal a ton of damage per hit and a lot of cool kill moves, you do have to use them all very defensively, which in general people don't really like to watch. But one thing that makes this character kind of make up for that a little bit is going to be her down B, the Phantom, which is A, her best move by far, and B, has weird combos out of it. You can have a charged Phantom, it hits your opponent's shield, you get a grab. You have a charged Phantom, it hits your opponent, and you hit a forward air out of that, or an up air, or a down air. Now this is extremely hard to time and will almost never happen, but I've seen it once or twice, and when it hits, you know, it hits. Again, the character in general, kind of boring, but a few things that this character can do can be super hype. Yo, so real talk, for some reason, Dr. Mario's down B can kill your opponent at like 40% at the edge of the stage. You can down throw into down B, sometimes get nairs into tech chase down Bs, just random crap like that. I don't know why this happens. It barely actually shows up in real games. But seeing a Dr. Mario actually pull one of these out, a character that isn't necessarily that great, yo, that's cool. Just watching him steal stocks like that, fun to see. Pichu's Thunder is so freaking cool because it has all the abilities of Pikachu's Thunder, but actually always hits the opponent the way that you're facing. Now, you don't know how important this is to create a hype move, because having a move that just doesn't work half the time, you get ready for it, you see the Pikachu hit the Thunder, and it does nothing. But then with Pichu, he hits the Thunder off, you know, an up throw, off maybe an up air, off whatever his setup is, and then it will kill his opponent. You see those sparks, the opponent is dead, and it's just, it's so satisfying to watch this move. As well as seeing the Pichu, you know, potentially jump off stage, go for a Thunder, kill his opponent in 30, that's cool to see as well. Pichu overall has a ton of kill moves, a ton of kill power, but this one's probably the most hype one for me. Falco's combo game is kind of the only cool thing about the character, because other than that, he's just kind of, you know, decent, you know, it's kind of fun to watch. But when you finally see a Falco hit that up tilt, into an up air, into a forward air, read his opponent, get him 0 to 60, and then hit a downer off stage and kill his opponent off that, yo, that is so hype to watch. Other than that, this character doesn't have way too much, but his combos, they definitely are the hype part about him. Marth's tippers make him such an interesting character for me, and I love seeing Marth. Now, unfortunately, nobody plays Marth. He's literally not even a character in the game anymore, I'm going to say. I've never seen him in the past 7 months. But if you see a Marth randomly appear for no reason, and he goes for an F smash, and it kills at 20, and you finally see a character that isn't Lucina, that alone, that alone brings the hype. I'm sorry, Marth mains, but that's the best you can do. The fact that Youngling can actually combo his projectiles into his aerials and into his tilts, I think makes him just the coolest projectile character in the game. Now, is it hard to do this? Yes. Is it extremely hard to do this? Yes. Can even the best players not pull it off all the time? For sure. But he has the ability to, and I think that's just what makes him such a cool character. It makes his skill cap essentially infinitely high, and while I don't think we're ever going to see somebody actually pick up Toon Link and do godlike as him, they could potentially always do that. You could potentially always see godlike combos with him, and that's what makes watching Toon Link always such a joy. Yo, Ganon's like Falcon, where he just has a bajillion moves that could be his most hype move. But for me, I'm going to pick his new move, that being his forward smash. Now, I could pick the Warlock Punch, because the Warlock Punch, you know, is pretty much Ganon Punch. But I feel like whenever you use it, you're just like, you know, I wish I would have gotten a Falcon Punch, so whatever. I'm kind of disappointed. With his F smash, you can charge this thing and kill your opponent at 20. You can throw this thing out and kill them in mid-stage at like 40%. It's one of those moves that takes forever to come out, that isn't actually going to hit way too often, but if you read your opponent, they're just gonna die. And the Doria sound he makes, yo, that keeps my heart pumping every time I play as this character and against this character. U2 side B combos are just awesome to watch because they just lead to so much. You can go side B into forwarder, side B into neutral B, side B into really kind of whatever you want if your opponent screws up a little bit, honestly. But yeah, it is a really cool move. Other than that, he is kind of disappointing in this game, but side B, yeah, definitely makes it up. And as well, it is a reflector, which is kind of cool to see, so yeah, that's kind of how it is. I feel like with Roy and Kron, they have a lot of fake hype because a lot of their moves are extremely powerful. So, you know, they hit their opponent, they kill super early, and you're like, wow, that was pretty cool. But then you realize, you know, that was actually pretty safe to do. That's kind of what they should have done. So, in order to combat that, I'm going to talk about the neutral B, a move that won't really ever hit, but can kill at 0%. And pretty much anywhere on stage. You can't say that about any other character in the game. You could say that their F smash is the most hype. You could say that Roy's side B killing at like 60% is the most hype. But seeing a neutral B fully charged, probably only in a casual match because that is the only time it is ever going to hit. You know, that's going to take the cake for me, even though that probably will never happen. Game & Watch just kind of keeps climbing the tier list as of late, and with that, people are kind of playing him more consistently, throwing out his more consistent aerials, his more consistent tilts, being more smart with him, and you know, that's all cool. but people are forgetting about the best part of the character, down throw into side B. Now, will you get a 9 all the time? You know, definitely not. But if you have the hope, and if you get it, and if you're behind a stock especially, you just can't hit on Game & Watch for that. Is it complete RNG? Is it kind of dumb? Yes. But when it hits, it's just a goodie and a classic. Meta Knight's kind of always been a character where he has two cool things, at least in this game, where you can either, dash attack and then upper, and then get an up B and hopefully kill your opponent if they screw up a little bit. Or on the other hand, backer your opponent off stage, get another backer off stage, and then kill them with neutral B at like 40%. Other than that, this character is just kind of in general, kind of normal. But when those two things happen, which almost never do happen anymore because they're kind of nerfed in this game, it's still one of the most hype things you can see with pretty much any character, and especially with Meta Knight. Okay, so with Pit and Dark Pit, you're probably thinking to yourself, both these characters are pretty lame. What the heck are you going to say is hype about them? But Pit sniping with his arrows, that's got to be the most hype thing. And especially sniping the opponent off stage, taking their jump, and killing them. Now, this doesn't happen too often because it is kind of hard to do, and it does rely on your opponent being off stage in a certain position. But when it happens, it just takes you out at far range, all the way across the screen. You just got danked on. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about this character. Other than that, he's a pretty normal character. Mr. Samus, like Rowan Crom, has a lot of fake hype because she has neutral air into down B, but that's a kill confirm that's just always going to happen. While it's kind of cool to see it, it's going to happen. She has up B out of shield, which looks really cool, but it's just going to kill. It's kind of whatever. And she has a lot of fake hype moves like that. But in this game, I'm going to say the most hype part about her is getting upper strings into up B off the top of the screen. Because unlike in Smash 4, it's not guaranteed at all. You almost never see your Zero Suit go for upper, up B. It just doesn't really work anymore. But when the Zero Suit sees the opponent, knows when they're going to air dodge, knows how they're going to DI, and actually gets this, holy crap, that's so cool to see. In general, I kind of wish the Zero Suit did have, upper, up B more consistently in this game because it is my favorite thing to see with her. But I guess it being less consistent makes it even more hype when it finally happens. So you could say that Wario's Waft is kind of another fake hype move because the character does rely on it a ton. He does have to throw it out a ton. But when he's down a stock, or maybe down 2 stocks, gets a nair, kills the opponent 1 stock, and then gets another nair, up tilt, upper, down B, comes back 2 entire stocks, you can't say that that's boring to watch. You just can't say it. Now, it is extremely frustrating to play versus, and it does require you to play super campy versus Wario, so it is kind of lame in that way. But those comebacks coming from this move alone, and making him such a good character, yeah, it's definitely his most hype move. Snake's forward air is just Mario's forward air, but bigger, stronger, and wiser too. He's the first member of the Snake crew. I don't know. This move's cool. The rest of Snake is pretty consistent, while this move you don't really see way too much. But if you get a read and use it off stage, it'll work, it'll get the kill, and it'll look really awesome. Most hype thing to do with Ike is instead of going, nair into up air or nair into back air, is nairing your opponent off stage or near the edge of the stage, and then going for an up B and suicide killing 1-for-1. Especially when you have less percent than your opponent, because you're just flexing on your opponent. Now you could go for the consistent up air or back air, but who wants to do that when you can go for up B? That's probably the most hype thing. Nobody ever does it, but it's cool when it happens. The most hype move with all of Pokemon Trainer is extremely easy to pick because we look at Charizard, we look at that side B, and we think to ourselves, this is a kill move. And that's all we have to think. Now, the reason why I think this move is especially hype is because it is so unsafe. It is so bad if the opponent shields it. It's so easy to dodge. It's so bad in so many ways. Your opponent can dunk you out of it, shield you out of it, hero can bounce you out of it. It's so bad. But if you hit it and kill your opponent at 40 near the edge of the stage, or if you go for like back no side B and kill your opponent at 20, that's all I have to say there. It 100% requires your opponent on being dumb, on screwing up, but if they do, Charizard's kind of got you there. Finally, we got Diddy Kong, and with his hype move, I'm going to go with his upbeat, fully charged, hitting the stage. Now, I think this is hype because nobody expects it, because it's a kill move out of nowhere, and because it's just so weird. It doesn't look like it should kill, it doesn't look like it should do anything, but it straight up does. And that's just kind of how it is. So with all that in mind, that's going to be the most hyped thing about every single character in Smash Ultimate in my own personal subjective opinion. Now, if you want to check out the next part of the series, it's going to show up at the top right screen right now when it eventually comes out, so I definitely recommend to check that out. And if you want to see a video like this right now, you can also click on that playlist as there's going to be a video for the best moves for every single character, which is a 3-part series which has already come out that I think you'd really enjoy if you enjoyed this one. With all that said, guys, go off for watching, subscribe to see the next part of this series, and as always, guys, have a smashing day.